they're falling into the trap and not seeing the fine print, which those companies have, which is we don't take responsibility for anything.
Right.
That's bad.
The issue here, though, is speed without strategy is where your business is vulnerable and can become hurt. You don't want, AI spit out the same thing for somebody else.
Right.
And now you're both making poignant points in the same poignant way, poignantly, right? At the end of the day, if AI is doing all the thinking for you,
Right.
you've lost your edge as far as I'm concerned. Like, I've been doing this wrong. So you mean to tell me I could go, you mean to tell me I could keep them cheeseburgers flowing and just say, no, the weight is dropping off. The weight is melting off.
This is the Grow Business Podcast with Corey Mosley.
Do you have the bop in your head? Yeah. You like walk around bopping.
I get,
Like
the thing.
bippity bop.
The thing for me, I was talking to my buddy this weekend. We talked about me walking a lot. Now, certainly this last month and a half, I haven't been walking because, it's.
Well, you got to walk on a treadmill like I do.
Right, it's an emergency room visit if I do that.
Yeah.
But the thing that I like about walking outside is there's a cadence and a rhythm to it. And the point in saying that is that it stimulates thought process for me, and I'll work because I don't take any devices with me. I don't take my phone. I don't take any music or anything.
Oh, you don't get credit? You got your watch though.
I have my watch. Well, I have I have my watch, so I give myself
your whoopy whoop.
Yeah, so I get credit for the activity.
Oh, so you're not listening to anything. You're not listening to
it's
you just walk.
It's all
you're just
mental.
one with nature.
Yeah, and what it allows me to process ideas. It allows me to work through content. It allows me to think about things that I'm dealing with.
I do that during massages.
Maybe I should do that.
Yeah, I'm quiet, like that. Because you're doing those physical activities going on with like your knees and stuff.
Right.
So like I'm still, so I will do that. I will do that in getting a massage. Mm-hmm. That gives me, now that's when my ideas are flowing and I'm thinking and I'm kind of in the Zen thing. I'm there, Willie H says he's snoring.
Yeah, me too.
They got notes. They keep notes on you. So they kind of snore like when you come in there.
if you come in and they have headphones on.
Yeah, exactly. They already know what you're doing there. The stories that are told. Listen, that's a sign of a good massage therapist there.
100%.
You put me to sleep,
Yeah.
Not so much the other stuff people sometimes like break wind and stuff. That's like you're relaxed, right? You're really relaxed, but like you don't want to, and then it's terrible. All right, folks.
True release.
People are like, where is this? If you're looking for business growth education, you are in the right place, despite sometimes how it gets started. But folks, this is the Grow Business Podcast. I'm your host, Corey Mosley. Joined by my esteemed co-host. That's right, folks. His name, it made it. His name is on the marquee now.
There you go. Yeah, thank you.
I told you, called his daddy and told him. LG Lon Graham, Lon Graham, LG 007's in the building.
Voice of reason.
It's good to be here, Corey.
And on the buttons, he's the official button guy. If you like what you see, it's because of him. If you don't, it's because of him. Willie H is here.
Hit the buttons, William.
All right, we're going to dive right into this show here today. We base our show based on the 5 pillars of business growth. What are they?
Yeah, thank you for asking, Corey. They're mindset, sales, marketing, operations, and people.
That's right. We go deeper in this. My latest book, Position for Growth, now available on Amazon.com, Kindle. Get it where you can get it. Buy one for yourself, as my friend Dr. Willie Jolly says. You got to get 2 copies.
Right.
One for yourself, one for a small business colleague.
There you go.
Somebody who could benefit from it. So
that's right.
We come here week after week with a focus on doing one thing, helping your business grow. And we're going to continue that conversation today by having another conversation about AI.
All right.
Because we love AI. But it's not just the topic, it's the context that's important.
Right.
This week, I want to talk to you about, because we always talk about how AI can transform your business.
Right.
I want to talk about how you can make sure AI doesn't ruin your business.
Yeah, that's really good.
Right?
That's really good.
I think that's a topic worth talking about because the context just matters.
Right.
People just slap AI in front of something, or people play around with ChatGPT or whatever. But there are people who are kind of trying to let it run their business, and I want to make sure it's helping you run your business and not ruin your business.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, AI isn't here to destroy your business, but using it the wrong way absolutely will.
Ooh, yeah.
So that's what I want to get into. AI is moving faster than most business owners can even think. Right. The development. And everyone feels pressure to do something with AI.
Right.
So the issue here, though, is speed without strategy is where your business is vulnerable and can become hurt.
Right. Well, speed without strategy and some built-in structure as well.
Yeah.
I was talking to a buddy of mine who's a lawyer and well-known OSHA lawyer in the United States. And we were talking about a judge, and I don't remember where the judge is, and but there was a judge who rendered a decision based on a precedent that he cited for his decision.
Right.
The precedent, there's no evidence that case even existed.
No
What
way.
it means is
I've
that
heard attorneys doing that, getting caught citing cases. I've never heard of a judge.
Well, this was his decision on a case he was overseeing, and the precedent that was cited was research that one of his assistants, legal assistants, had done.
Right.
And he didn't validate that it was that the case was legit. And so my point in saying it is this: it's a perfect example of how a runaway AI can hurt and potentially even destroy your career or your business.
Yeah. We don't want that.
Correct.
Because as Willie H would say, that bad.
We'll save him a button.
All right. So, let's dive right in because, at the end of the day, we want you using AI as a growth tool without letting it dilute your brand, confuse your customers, or replace your thinking.
That's huge.
So strategy one, let's just dive right in. We're gonna get to 5 today's show.
Okay.
We're gonna move fast today.
Okay.
Because I want to just crystallize this for people. So number 1 is don't let AI replace your judgment.
Yes.
So AI is a tool, not a decision maker. And this is very, very important because people skip over the hallucination factor and all of these things. Because if you prompt it in certain ways, AI will reinforce what you're thinking, not always challenge your thinking.
Correct.
So, when you're using AI, think about drafts, ideas, summaries, analysis, but you got to keep humans in charge of final decisions. Apply business context that AI doesn't have.
Yes. And what is helpful is to have somebody that you have confidence in, that you can run ideas by, say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Does this make sense to you?
Right.
You know who we are. And, whether it's, there's CEO councils and business councils and, independent personal boards of directors that we all have some form of that. Run some of these ideas that if you're going to run with it are going to represent your business. Run some of these ideas by people that know you, that may not necessarily think like you, but they know you and can say, well, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't sound like you, or that doesn't fit what you're trying to do.
Well, and what kills me is that people think oh, I don't need an attorney anymore because I have ChatGPT.
Right.
I don't need a doctor anymore because I have ChatGPT. I don't need an accountant anymore because I have ChatGPT. That's out. And I'll give you a prime example. I just did a new consulting contract with a company, and I knew. So here's how I used it. I knew my attorney wasn't going to have the speed that I needed for the timeline to get this deal done. There was some time constraints on the deal, so I knew my attorney would take a little longer.
Right.
But what I did was I prompted ChatGPT with the elements of the agreement, what was being provided, what some of my my non-starters were, and then standard language. And then I met with my attorney and gave him that document.
Right.
And then let him review it and come back with some things that weren't considered. So I didn't allow, I allowed AI to speed up the process.
Correct.
But my human attorney, who understood a greater level of context and is going to consider some things that they didn't, which is what he did. He came back with some rewording and some clauses that I hadn't considered and it weren't considered in the prompt.
Right.
To then tighten up my agreement.
Right.
So I saved money. Yes, he couldn't bill me as much as he would have if he had drafted it from scratch. But also, I saved time.
Correct.
So I saved time and money. But how foolish of it would have been for me to just assume the ChatGPT version is what I should have submitted, and I would have missed some opportunities and some protections.
Right.
So folks, don't get this false. So again, the judgment, when we talk about the judgment, when we talk about making it the decision maker, because there's somebody out there right now going, I'm not going to call my attorney or find an attorney or go pay LegalZoom when for $20 a month I get ChatGPT to do it, and that's what they're submitting out there, thinking that it's good enough.
Right.
And when it comes to legal, you don't know, right? That document isn't tested until it's tested,
right,
or until there's a problem.
Well, and here's the way I would describe it, Corey, is think of, now I'm showing my age, right? Think of sending ChatGPT or AI to the library to do research. Mm-hmm. It's only going to look up what you tell it to look up. It's not going to consider all the possibilities.
Right, and if the book isn't in the library, it's not going to happen, right?
Somebody checked it out. They're not going to find it. That's exactly right. So have it go do the research for you, and then get legal counsel if it's a contract, if you're doing taxes, or you get an accountant, or get the professionals who are professionals for that reason involved.
That's right. Because people say, it's a big efficiency tool. Well, efficiency doesn't always mean correct.
Right. Going fast the wrong ways is going faster further.
Correct. Exactly. So, so you have to, you should be avoiding blindly trusting the outputs.
Correct.
And also letting AI make strategic or customer-facing decisions just from an AI perspective alone.
Correct.
So, again, that's a big word to people. That's a big thing. There's no doubt that AI is transcending the world. But again, having that reliance, thinking it, because they're also being sold and marketed to like, hey, you don't need this, you don't need this, you don't need this anymore. Our AI or our software with AI, powered by AI, is going to, solve all the problems. And people are falling into that trap.
Correct.
And they're falling into the trap and not seeing the fine print, which those companies have, which is we don't take responsibility for anything.
Right.
That's bad.
I think we had this conversation. I think we had this conversation.
Use at your own risk.
Right. I think we had this conversation, a couple episodes ago about beta, right?
Yeah. Beta. Yeah. Best word ever invented to have no responsibility about anything.
100%. That's exactly right. I was talking to a software engineer recently, and his company just bought a new AI tool, and they said, "Well, what can it do?" And he goes, "Whatever you program it to do."
That's right. I mean, that's and that's a great point. AI can process information, but it can't own the consequences.
Correct.
And that is a huge distinction.
That is correct.
So you can go think you're gonna win a case against OpenAI or Claude or Perplexity. Good luck.
Right.
Good luck. Those terms and conditions that nobody reads and everybody checks the box on, trust and believe they're fully indemnified in more ways than you could even imagine when it comes to that stuff. So, all right. Number 2, protect your brand voice like an asset, right? Because AI can make businesses sound generic very fast.
Yes. And your brand voice is a distinguishing characteristic.
Right.
So if you start to homogenize your brand voice to sound like all your competitors and really anybody else in the marketplace, whether they are a direct competitor or indirect, then you get lost.
Right.
We talked about And I'm going to refer to Scott McCain. We talk about Scott's got a new book out talking about how AI can level the playing field, which means everybody can be the same.
Right.
And you've got to figure out how to distinguish yourself differently. Right. How do you transcend that?
Yep.
And so you're right. Do not let it take your voice.
That's right. So, what do you want to do here? So you want to define your brand voice clearly. And again, you talked about training, right? We'll do whatever you train it. So training on your tone, training on your language, training on your positioning. And again, it's so easy to skip this.
Yes.
It's so easy to get your subscription and just start asking it stuff. And, make me a business plan, make me a marketing plan, make me a TikTok plan, right? And it will do whatever you tell it to do, but it's not necessarily going to do it in the best vein, for you, right? Which is why prompt engineering is such a popular and hot, profession right now on doing that. So, and very, very important when we talk about what people see on the street, so to speak. Make sure you're editing everything that is customer facing.
Yes. Yeah, and one of the things too, we talk about getting to, perspective is so important. If you are embracing AI technology and you're using it for things that are customer facing,
right?
Before you start to apply it to everybody, we talk about one or two, try it one or two times. Call a couple of your best customers and say, or a couple of your best clients and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Will you tell me if this sounds like me?
Right.
Will you tell me if this sounds like us? And then, so that does two things for you. One, it gives you the perspective of somebody who's rooting for you. Two, it brings your customers closer to you because now they feel like they're involved in your business.
Right.
And so they're going to be more loyal because you're bringing them closer to you.
Voice of reason.
There you go. You got one.
Earned one, right?
Yeah, you earned one. Whew, right, the beads of sweat off that man's face there. All right, so what you want to avoid? Well, just copy and pasting.
Right.
Publishing AI output without human review. I mean, I'm going back. I'm going to beat the drum on that.
Yeah.
And also letting speed replace originality.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said for that too, particularly based on the contents. If you're going after thought leadership or you're trying to establish thought leadership, right? You don't want, AI spit out the same thing for somebody else.
Right.
And now you're both making poignant points in the same poignant way, poignantly, right? So, we got to watch that.
Absolutely. I was just say, keep in mind that AI is drawing from existing content. It's not creating content. It's drawing from existing content.
Right.
And it may be interpreting it, but if you're using AI for your voice, it means it's taken from somebody else's voice to make yours, which means you're going to sound just like them. Right.
And you teed that up. I mean, the fastest way to disappear in the marketplace is to sound like everybody else.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
100%.
All right. Strategy 3. We're moving right along.
Yep. People,
I always get people, I think it's interesting, from our perspective here, is like when I made a decision to not, my previous podcast was very guest driven.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, that's so much of a workout. But also, it's not. What does that do for my thought leadership? Right. So from a consulting end, from a visual end, tell us about your, now I'm just an interviewer, which in other formats makes complete sense.
Right.
But it was just like, well, we have stuff to say.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, hopefully people will continue to find us entertaining, engaging, right? Educate, motivate, activate.
That's
right. But that was a very similar thing. Just saying, I could just do a guest-driven thing like everybody else. And then now I just think there's far more complexity to that, where we can talk about the topics we want to talk about, the way we want to talk about them, So, all right, strategy 3. Don't use AI to avoid doing the hard thinking.
Yes.
Which, sounds counterintuitive to like the easy button that people treat AI as, right? Because, I might argue that AI is most dangerous when it becomes a shortcut for clarity.
Yeah.
Right? Now, use it for brainstorming. Use it to synthesize research.
Right.
Use it for pattern recognition. But Don't use it for defining your strategy,
Correct.
right? Or simply understanding your customer emotionally.
Ooh.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's been programmed on Sigmund Freud. I don't know. But and also making values-based decisions, because at the end of the day, if AI is doing all the thinking for you,
Right.
you've lost your edge, as far as I'm concerned.
Woo. When the church say amen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, AI normalizes the lowest common denominator when we're talking about thinking and creativity. It completely eliminates it because it's drawing from what exists.
Right.
It's not creating, it's drawing from what exists. Now, like there's this AI craze of people doing all these AI caricatures, which is a lot of fun, but AI is not making a picture of you, it's taking a picture of you
Right.
and repurposing it in a different format.
Right.
Same thing with your thoughts. If you let AI think for you, it's going to repurpose your thoughts just like it does everybody else's.
Yeah. No, it's true. Did you do one for yourself?
I have not. I just haven't sat down done. Have you?
Yes.
Okay.
I did do one. There, look. You can see on it.
That's awesome.
It's got all the ice cream.
Yeah, it's got the ice cream and the chef.
I don't think that looks like me, though. I don't know. We'll see. Willie H., I'll send this to you. You can pop it up in post.
Yeah.
It's got all the ice
I mean, it's got your personality. Physically, it doesn't look like you, but
yeah, right. It doesn't, right? I don't think. It.
There's tendencies, but it's not.
But it got all the ice cream in it. But
Yeah.
I used the picture of me with all the ice cream.
Perfect.
So that's where I pulled it from. But
which is what.
I thought that was
Who
fun.
doesn't want a picture with ice cream?
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. All right. All right. Strategy 4.
Okay.
This is the Express program today.
Yeah, it is.
But this is good. I mean, I want, again, I think these are boom, 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 boom. We want people to get it. And, I think the other thing is people over talk AI. Like they drag it out.
Right.
So like for me, it's like boom, 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 boom.
Right.
Case point example, here's here's 5 strategies. Go on and be well, with the rest of your day, particularly on a topic like this, where you're wedging in 800 other conversations about AI.
Right.
So, all right, strategy 4 is be careful where you insert AI into the customer experience. And why this is important is we think about all the things AI automates.
Right.
And the fact of the matter is automation without empathy, I believe, damages trust.
Well, it damages trust and it creates distance. And here's what I mean. I forget, and the company doesn't matter. I was on a website the other day and it had a chat bot and I wanted to use something and I input, okay, this is what I'm looking for. And it went in an entirely different direction. So I wanted to pick up the phone. There's no phone number to call.
Right.
Like you're not interpreting what I'm telling you I'm looking for.
Right.
Actually, you're interpreting it differently than I'm asking it.
Right.
And so is it up to me to change my language with a bot?
Right.
Or do I have the capacity to pick up a phone and say, here's what I'm trying to accomplish. Can you help me do that?
Right.
And then they can ask questions that we can go back and forth. And that's where you're talking about, that's an example of what you're talking about, using AI to replace the customer experience.
Right.
Or to create the customer experience. Because if you do that and then they disappear, and you're like, well, where'd they go?
Right. No, I mean, when we think about where we're inserting it, right? It's also because what you're talking about also like some risky use cases, complex customer issues,
right?
Emotional conversations, right? I don't want a AI like mental health counselor.
No,
you
do not.
Thank you for sharing that information, Mr. Graham. I understand that you may not be feeling good. You may be feeling down.
Right.
Have you considered breath work? Yeah, like I don't.
What are you saying? I have bad breath?
Right. So and also I think in a lot of ways, like high value client interactions can be certain. The outbound inbound. I'm working with a company now that it's in this space with the voice agents.
Okay.
And it's very fascinating. I mean, the amount of things you can get done that certainly, to me, it doesn't have to be a personnel replacement, but it's an efficiency at scale. So things like scheduling and logistics, those are wins to me, right?
Perfect,
so,
yeah.
you know, if I call a car dealership, you know, many times you're going to voicemail.
Right.
The receptionist is transferring you. Somebody's not answering.
Right.
They're busy. I mean, it's not. I hope they're not watching the phone ring and just
Correct.
refusing to answer it. So, and even after hours, like if you think about that world, a large percentage of calls come in after hours where there's
Correct.
nobody there to do it.
Right.
So the idea that an AI agent can take that call, pull up my VIN number, pull up the scheduling calendar for the dealership,
Right.
schedule me for my, you know, I'm calling for an oil change. It's not to, you know, I'm not saying,
Right.
hey, my car is making a knocking noise. You know what it is, and I need like a diagnostic.
Right.
But you know, hey, I'm looking to oil change. I need a tire rotation. Great, happy to help you with that. How's Tuesday at 3? Okay, great, Mr. Jones. I have you confirmed for Tuesday at 3. I'm gonna send you an email and a text message. It's gonna go on the calendar. Like, all in on that.
Correct.
Right. So, I think those are the types of things where it makes sense, like internal operations. You know, your tier 1 support, your level 1, like the first part, the easy stuff.
Intake, right. Yeah.
You know, oh, I need to update my credit card information. Great. After, you know, please feel free to give me your updated information and I'll update it. Right. But the more sophisticated it gets, again, that's where you wanna see where does it go too far, or where does it reverse the customer experience? Like, man, this was so cold.
Right.
You know, I don't. Yeah.
Right. Well, and especially when you're talking about premium products and premium services. And I think what we're talking about here, Corey, is understand that AI has value, and there's certainly things that it can do to improve your business and improve your business experience. Understand where the threshold is where you have to take over. I think that's what we're talking about here is for every business, there's a threshold where you have to take over.
Right.
And we're asking you to critically evaluate where is that threshold. And if it's a little early, that's okay. If it's a little late, it could ruin your customer experience.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a larger company, if you're dealing with like, you know, outside capital or private equity, things like that, I mean, efficiency is always great. Like that's what these private equity companies do. They buy something and they think they're going to come and make it more efficient. So efficiency can certainly impress investors, but empathy builds customer loyalty, builds loyalty in the situation.
Absolutely.
So I think that's definitely something worth considering there and to be focused on. Okay. We're at number 5.
Yay.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, I can. You know,
can you believe it?
Well, today we're, semi-brand on brand with color. Green means go, so we're going fast.
Yeah,
today,
green means go. I like that. What does aquamarine mean?
means I'm thinking warm. When I was a kid, my parents used to tell me, if you think warm, you'll be warm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I saw something the other day. I saw a woman on the podcast the other day who said that instead of working out, she visualized she was building muscle.
Okay.
And that her muscle percentage went up 13%.
She must not, depends.
And she was on Diary of CEO, like a big podcast.
Right.
Like that was a big audience to make the claim that she mentally willed muscle on her body.
Right.
Do you think that's, what do you think about that real quick before we get to number 5?
Well, here's, Lord have mercy.
She willed it. Like, I've been doing this wrong. So you mean to tell me I could go, you mean to tell me I could keep them cheeseburgers flowing and just say, no, the weight is dropping off. The weight is melting off. The weight is melting off. Now, Tony Robbins had a thing where he says, nothing tastes as good as thin feels as a mantra to make better food decisions.
Correct.
I didn't know I could just sit here and will it off of me.
Well, here's what I'll say.
Be about 165 in about 3 weeks.
Here's what I'm going to say. Nothing exists in a vacuum. So that alone is not going to make you more muscular and physical and stronger.
Well, that's just disappointing to hear.
Yeah, well,
Aren't you just a party pooper?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm going to go back and listen to her, and I'm going to get my wheel on.
Get your wheel on.
Yeah, I'm going to get my wheel on.
Look, I was I exercise science major in college. I understand the exercise piece of it, and I understand that there's things that you can do to increase your efficiency and effectiveness, nothing exists in a vacuum.
Hold on. I'm getting taller. I'm growing. I've grown taller.
That's right.
Booyah! Now somebody get me a measuring stick. Let's see if it worked. All right, number five. Build AI into your business intentionally, not reactively. Okay? Huge distraction. Chasing simply a trend.
Yep.
Right? Now, designing systems in your wheelhouse is leadership.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, start with a business problem, not a tool. Test the AI in controlled environments.
Right.
You're not just letting it loose in your customer world.
Right.
And then also review outcomes regularly. Is this doing what we wanted to do? Is this getting the result that we wanted it to get? Right?
Correct.
Are we solving the use case?
Yeah. If you're starting with AI, start with one thing.
Right.
Start with one problem, with one idea, with one process, and go through that with AI and then evaluate it.
Right. Because bad signs. If you feel pressure just to keep up, if your competitors are driving your decisions, right? And frankly, if you can't explain why you're using it, right? All giant red flags, right? Because the fact of the matter is AI should be amplifying what already works, not trying to cover up what's broken.
Right. Yeah. And think of AI, your background in the car world, and we use car references a lot. Think of AI as an accelerator, not as an ignition switch. So think of it, it's not going to turn on a new business or a new experience or a new customer for you. But think about how can you fit it into what you're already doing so that you can use it to speed up.
Yeah, I like
this
that.
Might be a guy I want to work with.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. If you're not getting the new newsletter, what's the name of the newsletter?
It's one thing.
One thing. That's a LinkedIn newsletter. You need to go to LinkedIn now. Find Lon Graham if you're not connected to him already.
Yeah.
If you are connected to him, click on subscribe. Subscribe so you can get the mojo, get the leadership mojo that you need to get.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course. So, when we think about AI, we think about it ruining a business. AI won't ruin your business, but surrendering your thinking, surrendering your voice, and surrendering your customer relationships can very well take it. I mean, the stories are coming out day by day. People who had good intentions and thought they were disruptors and getting ahead of the curve that now are paying the price for that. So, it's a great time to audit where you're using AI right now, and identify a place that it helps. And maybe there's some place that you shouldn't be using it at all right now.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, my opinion, at least, is the future belongs to businesses that use AI with intention, not insecurity.
Oh, 100%.
Let the church say amen.
There it is.
Because again, boom,
shakalaka. We need to make that a new soundbite.
I like that. When you use it with insecurity, what it does is it reduces you to the lowest common denominator.
Right.
Which means now you're like the least of everybody else. And you are no longer distinguishable.
Right.
You are no longer distinguishing. And your customers will not pay for the value that you provide because you're no longer providing value different than anybody else.
Voice of reason.
Oh, a double.
Double boom, boom.
Oh, wow. We're going to have a meeting. All right, folks. Well, there you have it. We hope that this resets or at least gets the thought process moving in terms of how you've been using AI. Again, an overly used term, but we wanted to add context to it today, and I think we've done that successfully.
Agreed.
What do you have to say to the folks?
Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming back. And next time, bring a friend.
That's right. This has been another edition of the Grow Business Podcast. On behalf of myself, Lon Graham, LG007, and Willie H., we thank you for listening, and we will see you next week. Willie H., take us out.
one of the values of condensing this specific episode is because we talk about AI in every episode at some level.
Sure.
So this is really focused on it as opposed to how does it influence and impact all of the other things that we talk about.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
100%. Fantastic.
Yeah.
You got it.
Green means go.
Green means go. I like it.